Everyone knows Drake hates Kendrick Lamar, but in this feud, who actually crossed the red line that dragged things this far to the point where moves look like they could end up in court? Before we get into details, cute hip-hop if you haven't subscribed yet, click the subscribe button and press the bell so you never miss our latest updates. Some rappers believe Kendrick has tried to end the hostility, but from the other side, the answer has always no. But do not estimate that Drake is crossing the line, because after watching this video till end, you will know the complete story behind their day-by-day growing hate. Let's go into the full details. At the start, there is only easy, good air between them. Quick nod in a hallway. A light smile that says, "Yeah, I see you." A short line of praise in a small interview. Then, late 2009 comes. Drake is moving from mixtape buzz into real radio space. His hooks stick. Blogs keep putting his name on top. Fans post his soft personal lines like they are private notes sent to them. At the same time, Kendrick, still dropping the last of that K-dot layer, is in smaller packed rooms, low ceiling, warm air, people leaning forward, counting each bar while he works on breath, timing, and tight rhyme chains. Their styles sit far apart, but not in a bad way. One is open and everywhere. The other is quiet and focused. Two kinds of hunger pushing upward. Drake's early style feels like a host. He brings people in, mixes singing and straight talk, shows different moods, shows you can be open and still strong. Kendrick's style is about weight per line. Cut the extra shine. Make each bar hold meaning. Let waiting build interest. One keeps feeding fans nonstop, the other leaves a little space so people lean in more. No attacks, just contrast. But contrast makes people start to compare. And comparing again and again slowly changes the air around them. Fans on forums and in barbershops start soft lists. Under Drake, range, mood shifts, replay value, strong hooks, steady drops. Under Kendrick, storylines, moral angles, street detail, structure, rare releases. At first, it's playful. Then, every new song gets scored. Friendly talk begins to feel like a quiet race nobody announced out loud. Interviews add tiny sparks. Drake talks about connection, reach, feelings, audience, moments. Kendrick talks about craft, story, structure, truth, duty, both honest. Hearing those different words month after month builds two invisible rulers. People hold new tracks against Ruler 1. Did it touch a lot of hearts fast? Then Ruler 2. Did it cut deep and say something rooted? If a track leans more one way, one side smiles, the other shrugs. Soft friction grows. Even small body language gets read too hard. A short laugh after a top rapper question. A still face when rankings come up. A compliment that sounds a little cooler than last year. Maybe nothing. But fans freeze these moments and search for hidden shade. That maybe feeds a low, slow ember. By the end of 2011, the talk shifts. It's less two fresh voices and more a hanging question. Who holds the better path? The wide emotional builder always present, or the tight poet who arrives rarely but heavy? That question just sits there, like a thin wire quietly starting to hum louder each time a new list or award mention taps it. Respect still shows, but the hum is real. Then, year 2011 starts when Drake's name gets bigger. More shows, more features. Big festival slots, his face keeps showing up. He starts to look like the guy who can open a door for others, bring a newer artist on stage, drop a friendly post, give a small cosign that suddenly feels huge to that smaller act. People start calling him the one who builds a wide table. It feels warm and smart. It also grows his power in a quiet way, because every favor becomes a soft vote for him. Kendrick is still in full grind mode. He accepts respect when it comes, but he keeps a little distance, not rude, just focused. He talks less, records more, edits more, tests his breath, cuts extra words, sharpens lines. When he does appear, fans lean closer. The space he leaves between releases works like a pause that builds curiosity. Drake fills space. Kendrick lets space work for him. Drake's circle talks about numbers a lot. Reach, radio spin, chart spots, fast streaming climbs, global ears. They celebrate how a track catches quickly and sticks in people's heads. Kendrick's circle talks about different wins. Did a verse say something real? Did the structure feel fresh? Did the story move someone inside? Two scorecards, both real, both valid, but they do not measure the same thing. So casual fans begin to split. One side loves the constant feed, the other side loves the careful, slow build. When Drake brings a hungry voice on stage, it makes him look generous and strong. The new artist shines, and Drake still shines brighter for sharing that moment. It is like adding soft coins to an invisible jar labeled influence. Meanwhile, Kendrick's quiet style makes some people read him as above the noise. He doesn't need to shout. The bars talk. That idea of calm strength feeds a subtle story. Drake the sponsor, Kendrick the purist. No one is throwing a diss. Still, rap has tribes. Talk starts to form in comment threads, barbershops, small podcasts. Drake owns the radio, Kendrick owns the pen. Drake runs the show side, Kendrick keeps it pure. Each line sounds harmless alone. Put together, they outline a light rivalry map. People start taking pride in their chosen lane. The more Drake's songs play in malls,
I could change your life so easily.
gyms,
Take the whole thing, slow down.
cars,
Are you riding?
parties, the more certain, pure listeners push back and say, cool, but wait for Kendrick's next drop. That push and pull keeps energy heating without open shots. By early 2012, that sponsor versus purist frame feels settled in the culture. It is like a long spring being wound slowly. Everyone can sense one clean, direct line in the future will not come from nowhere. It will feel like stored pressure finally let loose. And that pressure is already humming across feeds and crowds. Late 2012 feels like two waves rolling toward the same shore. Drake already has a bright trail behind him. Take Care has lived long enough to prove his blend works. Rap verses, soft melody, honest talk about pressure, fame, trust, late-night feelings. People know the formula now and they keep playing it. Songs cycle through radio, cars, gyms, parties, quiet rooms. His reach looks stable, not lucky. Then Kendrick's major album hits hard. It plays like a movie. Voices, family calls, peer pressure scenes, rides through Compton streets, mistakes, prayers, little moral loops that keep circling back. Fans don't just nod heads, they follow chapters. Blogs write think pieces breaking the story order. Older heads smile because it feels like serious storytelling again. Younger listeners lock in because it is still fresh and modern. In a short window, the talk changes from "this kid is next" to "he just built a classic." Now media outlets start putting their names beside each other almost every day. One headline: two different roads to the future of rap. Another: emotion king versus narrative craftsman. The story sticks because it is easy to repeat. Drake equals wide emotional color. Kendrick equals strong lyrical spine. Even people who are not heavy rap fans can understand that split. Simplicity helps the comparisons spread wider. They also have shared touch points. Features, earlier support moments, small mutual praise, so fans feel allowed to study them like a science project. When a track drops where both appear, listeners replay to check tiny details. Did Drake tighten his flow speed because Kendrick was on the horizon? Did Kendrick soften a hook pocket a little because Drake proved melody can hit global numbers? Sometimes there is nothing there. Still, people keep looking. The act of looking keeps the rivalry frame alive. Awards season multiplies the tension. Their names sit side by side on nomination graphics. Each list forces a silent judgment. Who ranks higher and why? If Drake wins a broad category, some say reach matters. If Kendrick grabs a craft-focused trophy, others say pen matters. Both camps feel seen at different moments. Both also feel slighted at different moments. That push and pull is like steady heat under a pot. Friendly energy on camera continues. Smiles, nods, calm quotes, no loud disrespect. Yet under that politeness, the scoreboard-style thinking gets harder. Each artist now stands as a shortcut in debate threads. Someone types Drake and means melodic range, cross-genre hooks, emotional transparency. Someone types Kendrick and means layered writing, concept structure, moral framing, live focus. They are no longer just two artists, they are symbols for two ideas of rap growth. This stage is fast acceleration without open attack, like a rocket still using first boosters before separation. All it will take now is one brave bar, one direct name drop, one verse that refuses to play the polite hint game, to snap the cord holding back open competition. The culture can feel that thin cord tightening, and ears start waiting for the tug that will make the next phase explode. Early 2013 brings a flood of lists, rankings, top this, top that. Blogs, mags, podcasts, fan pages, everybody posts some chart. Drake's name sits high on most influence, hits, global reach, most streamed lists. Kendrick's name climbs fast on lyric, story, pure MC, craft lists. Each fresh graphic lands like a little spark. A few spots up or down changes how people talk that whole week. It is wild how a number made by some editor can press on pride. When Kendrick shows up above Drake on a strict rap skills list, purist fans shout, "See? Pen first!" When Drake lands higher on broad impact lists, his side replies, "Reach and consistency matter." Neither side is totally wrong, but each win feels like a poke to the other camp. Small gap, big noise. This back and forth shifts how fans hear new music. A normal line about success now sounds to rival ears like a scoreboard update. A bar about pen work sounds like a claim of moral edge. Neutral flex becomes currency entered into an open ledger. Interview clips add tiny fuel. A host asks Drake about the new wave. and his smile holds one extra second. Some viewers read calm confidence, others read mild annoyance. Another host asks Kendrick about being compared to huge commercial names. He answers steady, keeps the tone level. Fans slow these clips, crop them, add captions like shade or respect, and push them around social feeds. Most of it is harmless body language, but the search for hidden meaning turns background motion into surface tension. Award nomination lists tighten everything more. Their names appear side by side on screen. Fans live tweet reactions. If he wins this, narrative over. If the other wins, respect restored. Even before an envelope opens, people write threads predicting how a win or loss will shift leverage. The truth, both are already solid. The feeling, any slip could tilt the future crown. That feeling matters more than facts in a heated fan space. The talk changes the energy around harmless songs. Drake drops a smooth track about success and late nights. Some Kendrick fans call it shallow. Other Drake fans defend its mood power. Kendrick drops a verse with layered inner rhymes. Some Drake fans call it niche. Kendrick fans call it proof of depth. Back and forth, week after week, like two crowds leaning on a rope, testing when the middle will snap. All this ranking noise also affects the artist's silence. If Drake does not respond to a craft conversation, some say he is above it. Others say he is dodging. If Kendrick chooses not to comment on pop reach, some say he is focused. Others say he cannot compete there. Silence starts carrying messages nobody actually spoke. That's how a climate tightens. Behind the public politeness, a quiet craving grows in the culture. People start saying one of them is going to make a move. It becomes a sport to guess how and when. Reaction channels build history of subtle shots compilations. Even if half the examples are stretches, curiosity doesn't cool, because every new list resets the debate. The air feels dry, stacked with little dry twigs of quotes, rankings, smiles, shrugs. All it needs now is one bold verse to scrape against that pile and send sparks outward, turning quiet comparison into something louder as the year moves toward that moment. It was August 2013. A normal week turns sharp. A guest track drops. It is not even Kendrick's own single. People press play, nod through the early parts, then his verse comes, and the room feeling changes. He does the one thing top names almost never do in that era. He calls out other current stars straight by name, not in a bitter tone, but in a strong let's test ourselves way. Drake is in that list. So are other heavy names. He doesn't curse them out. He doesn't go for deep personal dirt. He simply plants a flag. I want to out-rap you. I want the crown. I am not hiding behind soft hints. That direct list hits like a firecracker, because the big rule lately had been, keep it subtle, keep it coded, smile on camera, sneak the jab in metaphors. Kendrick tears that polite curtain. The shock is mostly about his courage to break pattern. Fans feel adrenaline. Some cheer the sport. Some call it disrespect. Either way, everybody talks. Clips of only that name drop section get ripped, reposted, looped. Reaction channels film their stunned faces. Twitter threads, now X-style chatter, stack line-by-line breakdowns. Memes appear with scorecards before a second response even exists. Radio hosts replay the verse and ask callers, how should the others answer? Forum titles use words like shook, challenge, historic. Even people who do not follow rap daily now hear about that verse where he called everyone out. The named artists face choice pressure. Stay silent and risk looking scared to some. Reply fast and risk looking rattled. Downplay it and risk sounding defensive. Or praise it and risk giving him extra shine. That's a lot of mental math for one surprise feature. Drake chooses steady public calm. In interviews, he shrugs a little, keeps focus on his own lane, speaks like the verse is just competitive spirit, nothing earth-ending. Some fans read his tone as cool confidence. He's above scrambling. Others read a hint of tightness behind the relaxed smile. He's hiding annoyance. The same clip supports both readings depending on which side you already favor. From the moment Control circulates, every new bar from either artist gets a fresh layer of meaning thrown on top. A normal Drake flex line about staying on top, labeled by posts as a possible Control response. A later Kendrick bar about being king or raising standards, labeled as another Control echo. The verse becomes a lens that bends how people hear future music. Context shifts everything. The media cycle extends the fuse. Morning radio debates, night TV panels with guests saying, hip-hop needed this spark. Think pieces claim the verse brought back hunger. Others argue hunger never left, he just voiced it louder. That debate keeps oxygen flowing to the fire. Each hour the clip keeps trending, pressure rises for measurable reactions. Even artists not named are asked their opinion, widening the circle. Silence now has new meaning. If Drake stays quiet for a stretch, some say, he's plotting a clever response. Others tweet, he has nothing. If Kendrick doesn't escalate further right away, some call it strategic restraint. Drop bombs, step back, let shockwaves work. The absence of direct follow-up becomes its own tactic. Fan art and memes push a fight poster-style narrative. Two faces? Who answers? Who's next? This turns a creative verse into a season of a show with episodes people expect every week. That expectation machine makes even small hints feel huge. A notepad emoji in a tweet? He's writing. A studio photo? It's coming. Many of these signals would be boring in a normal month. Under control light, they glow. Most important shift, the culture stops debating if Drake and Kendrick are in a rivalry. It begins scoring how far it has gone and who holds mental ground. That mental shift hardens the stage. What was once two paths moving near each other is now a ring with crowd seats filling fast. And after that loud flash, neither rushes to full direct disses. Instead, both slide back into crafted, sly, layered lines, subtle weapons, because now even a soft tap on the mic sends ripples across a crowd waiting for louder thunder. After the control noise, they don't rush into open fire. They both slow the pace and choose light, hidden moves. Drake keeps posting bright tour moments, luxury shots, smooth clips of packed crowds singing whole hooks back to him. In new songs, he lets lines about staying on top and never dropping off slide through with a calm voice. To his fans, these bars feel like, "Relax, I still run this lane." To the other side, they sound like a soft tap saying, "Scoreboard? Look at the numbers." Kendrick answers without saying names. In short interviews, he keeps repeating things about pen work, discipline, live breath control, the craft of building full verses that stand up on stage with no backing help. He talks about pushing structure, pushing meaning. He does not spit insults. Still, the timing of those words makes some listeners feel he is drawing a quiet line. Charts are fine, but writing is the real test. His calm tone gives weight. It lets fans fill in the gaps themselves. Award shows add little sparks. A quick camera cut shows them in the same building. One short look across the aisle, half a smile. A nod that might be friendly or might be dry. A clapped hand cut off a second early. Online fans grab these tiny clips, slow them down, add circles and arrows, write threads. See that? That's shade. Most of it could just be regular neutral body language, but hungry eyes want a story. So ordinary moves turn into evidence. Songs from both sides now get taken apart the hour they drop. Fans build playlists titled All the Subliminals. They argue over single words. Does numbers kid mean charts? Does pen never plastic mean a jab at help in writing? Someone posts a theory. Another fan builds on it. A third edits a video adding dramatic music. Soon, a casual metaphor becomes confirmed in fan spaces, even if neither artist reacts. This slow chess helps both. Drake keeps his image of steady, unbothered rule. Kendrick keeps his image of patient, sharp craftsman, guarding purity. Neither spends heavy ammo too early. They are saving bigger, clearer shots for when the moment will shake more ground. Keeping things under the surface also keeps suspense high. Viewers lean forward, waiting for a louder swing. The quiet heat becomes normal background sound. People start speaking as if an even bigger stage of the feud is promised. Only the date is unknown. So every small sound now feels like a ticking clock moving them closer to the next spike. During 2014, both of them choose calm instead of loud shots. It is not a truce. It is strategy. Drake stays everywhere. Big festivals, arena dates, surprise walk-ons, clean, high-energy sets with crowds yelling whole hooks back at him. Clips spread fast, phone lights up, stage smoke, his voice sliding over smooth beats. The message is, I'm active, I'm present, I never leave your timeline. That steady visibility builds a feeling of unstoppable motion. Each major stage is like another stamp. Still here, still strong. Kendrick does the opposite in volume. He picks fewer spots. When he shows up, the focus is tight. A short set on a respected stage. A guest moment with maximum lyric intensity. A live performance where breath control is sharp and every bar lands clean. Then he steps back again. That spacing builds mystique. People say he appears only when needed. Waiting becomes part of his brand. Absence works like a silent ad. Fans keep the conversation warm even while he is off stage. Opportunities appear where either one could toss a direct jab, a feature slot with space for a spicy line, a beat switch opening, a social media rumor bursting for a reply. They both let many of those moments pass untouched. Fans argue about the meaning. Supporters of Drake say it shows he is above chasing quick clout. Supporters of Kendrick say he is letting others waste energy while he aims at something higher. Public compliments still happen. A quick, he's talented, A neutral, he does his thing. But now these flat phrases get sliced like lab samples. A simple nod can be labeled dry. A short praise line missing extra adjectives is called faint praise. Online threads stretch 5 pages over a single adjective choice. The lack of strong warmth feeds the story without either man saying anything openly hostile. This restraint period works like setting a stage before a heavy act in a play. By not throwing wild shots too early, they keep their core images safe. Drake's image of wide range and constant supply remains smooth, unbroken by messy, rushed disses. Kendrick's image of purity, focus, and bar weight stays clean, not dragged into quick, noisy back and forth. Each side holds its chosen ground. Fans feel a tension in the quiet, because now silence does not feel empty. It feels like loaded space. People post, "Why hasn't he answered that?" Others reply, "Because he's planning a bigger move." Waiting itself becomes entertainment. Reaction channels start making "Why you haven't heard a direct diss yet" videos. That hype machine builds support for both of them at the same time. By late 2014, the culture has adjusted to this pattern. One artist everywhere feeding momentum, the other appearing rarely and leaving strong echoes. Both approaches keep their lanes bright and keep curiosity high. The absence of a direct clash does not cool interest. It makes each small shift more noticeable. And outside stories about authenticity and writing standards begin to bubble that will soon tilt moral weight and test how well Drake can still guide the larger narrative while Kendrick guards his careful image. 2015 puts real weight on the story. Drake starts the year pushing hard with quick surprise songs and short releases. A track appears with little warning, people rush to stream it, lines spread across feeds in minutes. This pattern keeps him in constant motion. It says, "I can press a button and own the talk whenever I feel like it." Fans feel safe. Their star is active, sharp, flooding their playlists. Then the storm hits. Those reference track whispers turn into loud talk about his writing process. Audio leaks start moving in group chats. Blogs post explainer pieces. People who barely watched rap drama now ask, "Did he write every line?" The word ghostwriting turns into a daily buzz term. Authenticity becomes the hot currency. The ground under the rivalry tilts because writing credit is exactly the area where Kendrick's supporters already feel strong. They hold up his dense patterns, concept frames, breath control passages and say, "See? This is the hand-built craft." Even without any direct diss from Kendrick, the climate favors his lane. He doesn't have to shout. The news cycle does the heavy lifting for him. Kendrick continues in a calm, focused way. Live clips show him firing full versus clean. No backing vocal holding him up. Album cuts carry layered meaning. Think pieces call his structure precise and intentional. Every time he releases a tightly packed verse, people tie it to the larger talk about real writing. Even neutral lines about truth or discipline now land like soft jabs at the controversy swirling around his peer. Kendrick doesn't say Drake's name, yet the timing of his moves makes fans plug his work directly into the debate. Drake feels the pressure but answers through action instead of long speeches. He keeps dropping polished songs, delivers crisp performances, shows humor while handling side conflicts, and wins quick exchanges in other beef moments, proving he can still craft sharp responses fast. Those victories become a shield. Whatever the chatter, I can still land hits that shake the net. Supporters point to streaming numbers, replay stats, viral hooks. They argue impact is proof of authentic talent too. The tension here is not only about bars, it's about credibility math. Before this year, fans could say Drake equals emotion plus range, Kendrick equals depth plus story, both respected. After the leak noise, a fresh question forms. Who owns the pen? That question shifts fan energy. Even simple Kendrick lines about writing discipline glow brighter. Even strong Drake songs now carry a shadow question under them for some listeners. Did he write every detail? He has to outperform the doubt in real time. Online arguments get louder. One post, numbers lie less than rumors. Reply, Mes, integrity outlives short streams. Another, collaborative sessions are normal. Reply, Uns, but how much help is too much? These loops raise the emotional stakes of each new drop. Drake's next verse isn't just art. To some, it's evidence. Kendrick's next verse isn't just art. To some, it's a standard test others must pass. Through all this, Drake's resilience shows. He does not retreat. He doubles output pressure, reminding everyone he can set tempo. Kendrick's restraint shows. He does not crow about the noise. He lets silence plus quality act as quiet leverage. By the end of 2015, the scoreboard feeling has changed shape. Not total collapse for Drake. He still owns huge space. But a new contested zone has opened. authenticity weight. That zone will color how fans read every slight bar and every calm interview line going forward as Drake looks for sharp counterpunch chances and Kendrick keeps building selective, layered statements. Mid to late 2015 adds a fresh layer to how people judge both sides. Drake steps into a loud public fight with another rapper and drops sharp lines fast, one after another, until a second track hits, what people call the back-to-back moment. That run feels like a live sports event. Social feeds fill with jokes, punchline screenshots, memes, crowd clips from clubs where the track plays 2 times in a row. For a lot of fans and critics who said he might avoid real pen pressure, this looks like proof he can swing when pushed. The speed, the humor, the clean structure all work together. It's not aimed at Kendrick, but it still speaks to the bigger rivalry question. Will Drake respond if tested? Now many say yes, and he'll do it with style. While that noise shakes the net, Kendrick does not jump into the same spotlight. He chooses a different form of flex. He keeps releasing verses that show tight internal rhyme ladders, careful breath, social weight, and at moments he slides closer to melodic pockets that remind listeners Drake helped popularize. These short touches of melody feel like he is saying, I can step into that space if I want and still keep my writer edge. He doesn't stay there long. He just proves range and then returns to dense bar work. It's a quiet kind of dominance. Less fireworks, more scalpel. Fans place transcripts next to each other online. On one side, Drake lines that spread fast, easy to chant, built for crowd reaction, strong in replay value. On the other side, Kendrick lines that fold ideas inside ideas, harder to quote in one breath but rich once you unpack them. People start scoring categories: virality versus density, punch impact versus layer depth, speed of release versus selective timing. This is rivalry without direct aim. Each man is showing his toolkit against different targets, but everyone is still comparing. Drake's strength now clearly includes battle agility, quick compose, drop, dominate the talk cycle, turn a moment into a meme wave. Kendrick's strength includes patience, pick spots, deliver crafted paragraphs, let analysts and lyric heads do the marketing by breaking pieces down. Pressure handling becomes its own scoreboard line. Drake performs under hot, bright attention and looks comfortable. Kendrick performs under expectation of real rap guardians and delivers. Their brands harden. Drake, the adaptive fighter who can make a diss into a club chant. Kendrick, the precise technician who can step into multiple lanes without losing moral weight. By the end of the stretch, the rivalry lens upgrades. It is no longer only about emotion versus lyric. It now includes method of combat, public rapid fire versus measured surgical cuts. That widening gap in style sets up the next stage where constant market presence and careful selective drops start to feel like 2 different belief systems about how rap power should look, and listeners begin choosing sides on philosophy as much as on sound. Through 2016 and 2017, their 2 styles separate even more, like 2 roads that started near and now curve away with different lights over them. Drake chooses constant motion, new singles, playlist-friendly songs, surprise features, an Apple radio moment, a leaked snippet that turns into a full release. He keeps a steady drip. You open a platform and there he is on the front page, on a top playlist cover, trending in a regional chart, popping up as a guest on another artist's track. That constant presence makes casual listeners feel he owns the space. It trains the audience. Expect him every few weeks. His team understands that in the streaming era, repetition plus variety equals staying power. Each release might not be a life-changing event, but the chain of releases builds one large wall of visibility. Kendrick leans hard the other way. Long silence. Then a teaser move. Maybe an artwork leak. Maybe a sudden intense lead track that sounds urgent and layered. The moment it drops, social feeds snap to attention. People say, okay, something major is coming. Fans run early lyrics through group chats, trying to see if any small phrase might slide at someone. Maybe even Drake. Because his drops are rare, each line is studied like a clue. That scarcity creates weight. Absence becomes a quiet marketing plan. The longer the wait, the louder the return. Drake's songs in this time often include numbers talk, streams, shows, reach, time on top. He doesn't need to yell. A calm boast about longevity is enough. Fans read those lines as gentle scoreboard reminders. Look how wide this thing stretches. Kendrick's verses in this window often pull focus to craft in larger themes: society, personal battle, inner struggle, control of narrative. A simple phrase about kings or levels triggers threads. Is this a throne claim? Did that nobody can write this story bar carry a side meaning? Interpretation becomes a sport. So now the rivalry lens maps them as 2 models of rap power. Drake equal omnipresence, be everywhere, supply frequent mood shifts, feed every playlist lane, club, late night, gym, road trip. Kendrick equals precision, appear rarely, Force deep listens. Own the think piece week. Create a shared event feeling. Both models work. Both have risks. If Drake floods too much, critics say overexposed. If Kendrick waits too long, some casuals drift away. Watching them manage those risks becomes part of the drama. Psychological edges build. Constant presence signals confidence. I'm not scared to release, I trust my output. Controlled silence also signals confidence. I don't need to speak daily. My one statement will echo. Fans argue which is real control. One side says true dominance means never leaving the stage. The other side says true dominance means making the crowd wait and still show up at full volume when you return. Subtle lines sharpen this tension. A Drake bar about keeping the lights on everywhere, or numbers they can't touch gets screenshot with captions tagging Kendrick debates. A Kendrick line about the crown not measured in charts, or stories they can't author, gets screenshot with captions tagging Drake debates. Neither uses a name. The audience supplies the link. The audience wants the link, so it sticks. Media narratives play along. Articles frame it as streaming-era king versus album-era purist. Panels ask, which legacy will age better? That question hovers over each drop. Every new Drake track tests sustainability. Every new Kendrick verse tests depth expectations. Fans treat both tests like episodes in one long season. By the end of this swing, tension feels less like personal dislike and more like a live contest over what kind of rule matters: non-stop volume command or scarce precision impact. That philosophical pull tightens the rope between them, and the strain starts to shape their next creative choices as they edge toward more pointed stylistic echoes and small sonic jabs that underline the difference while teasing that a sharper clash could still be coming. From 2017 into 2019, their moves start to feel like quiet tests of each other's beliefs about rap. The loud punches still do not land, but smaller tags do. Kendrick begins dropping moments where he slides into a smoother melody zone or a bouncy rhythm pocket that sounds close to the lane people link with Drake. Catchy, light on the surface, easy to ride. He does it briefly, then snaps back into thick, stacked bars. The message sounds like, I can put on this jacket when I want, and I can take it off just as fast. Fans point at these moments and say he is proving range on purpose, showing that choosing density is a choice, not a limit. Drake answers in another way. He keeps weaving lines about reach, global routes, moving across genres, keeping steady chart presence year after year. He frames this constant mainstream touch as a skill of its own. The message there: sustained connection with millions is also pure craft. If you call yourself pure but can't stay heard worldwide, maybe your definition is smaller. He doesn't say Kendrick's name, but the timing of certain lines makes fans attach them to that conversation. Sonic experiments keep the debate rolling. When Kendrick takes a hook and makes it simple for a few bars, some Drake fans try to flip it. He's copying the formula he looked down on. Kendrick fans respond. He's showing he can do it cleaner while still wrapping story inside. Each side uses the same moment as evidence of their claim. That dual reading power shows how flexible the narrative has become. Interviews provide tiny drips of emotional fuel. A journalist asks Kendrick about melody. He smiles, says something short about trusting the pen first. Another asks Drake about lyrical pressure. He gives a relaxed answer about writing all kinds of feelings and not boxing himself in. A clipped laugh, a raised eyebrow, a pause before answering. These small, normal human gestures turn into slow-motion clips online with captions guessing hidden meaning. Commentary channels build 10-minute breakdowns off a 2-second smirk. Live shows add more small clues. Drake might stretch a set list section where he strings together genre-crossing hits to show range. Kendrick might perform a dense verse with no backing track to spotlight breath strength. Fans compare. Performance as crowd wave versus performance as pen showcase. Both effective, but they feed two different value systems: adaptive dominance versus strict authenticity. By now, the rivalry has shifted from who is better to what should rap leadership look like. Drake's path argues that blending styles, singing, global rhythm borrowing, and constant output prove a modern king. Kendrick's path argues that layered writing, conceptual focus, breath discipline, and scarcity prove lasting worth. It becomes a quiet ideological tug, mass connection versus concentrated craft. Neither is fully right, but each makes the other side sharpen arguments. Because the moves are subtle, fans document everything like a long chess match. People create timelines titled micro moments. They log a flow switch here, a stage joke there, an ad-lib. Years of these details stack into a thick archive. This patient building raises anticipation, and when both slow down again near the end of the cycle, the new silence does not feel empty. It feels like a charged blank canvas waiting for the next loud color to hit. That pause sets nerves humming for the phase to come. Through 2020 and into early 2021, the volume drops. Big, loud moves are rare. This quiet is not empty, it is tight. Kendrick says little in public. Studio rumors leak. He was seen here. Label people heard new cuts. Sound is different. Even small, unconfirmed whispers get posted by fan pages. His silence turns into a shape. The less he gives, the more people lean forward. Absence becomes a tool. Each week without music adds a drip of extra hunger. Fans start counting months since his last major verse. Threads begin with titles like "When He Returns" and fill with guesses, wish lists, and theories. Drake takes the other road. While the world shifts during a hard year, he keeps a flow of content, a reflective caption about early days, a photo in the studio, a clip playing a soft melodic piece, a quick live session sharing a few bars. He leans on nostalgia posts, old footage, early to grind pictures, to remind everyone he has years in this. That pattern builds a mood. He is stable, present, carrying a familiar sound through an uncertain time. Being visible when others are quiet makes him the default center of the casual rap scroll. Because large events are limited, the internet magnifies small artifacts. A vintage joint performance clip resurfaces and trends for hours. A fan account posts a side-by-side of early verses, asking who grew more. A line in a new Drake snippet mentioning patience gets spun into a potential sideways nod at Kendrick's long silence. No name, yet fans attach it. On the other side, an old Kendrick interview about not rushing drops recirculates. People frame it as a silent answer to the constant feed model. Neither artist is directly pushing these clips. The community is feeding itself using past material as if it were fresh. Fan editors become archivists. They collect every eyebrow raise from old award shows, every small cadence shift, every half smile, stitching a 12-year tension supercut. Watching it straight through creates a stronger sense of a single long story than people felt in real time. Context rewriting happens. Harmless old moments are recast as early signs. Memory gets edited to fit the current hunger. In this sparse climate, even merch drops, hairstyle changes, or a new chain photo can trigger threads. Is this signaling a new era? Color choice means darker sound? People laugh at themselves and still keep guessing. The vacuum effect. With little fresh data, the brain assigns extra meaning to crumbs. Dormancy does not cool heat. It seals it in, like closing a jar with pressure inside. Each day adds a little more trapped gas. Drake's steady trickle also draws its own critique. Some say, he's feeding us while others vanish. Respect. Others say, too much. Hold back until it's special. That debate mirrors the broader model fight, presence versus scarcity. Kendrick's absence feels risky to some. Will general listeners wander away? But powerful to others? Return impact will be huge. Both strategies collect believers. By early 2021, the air feels stretched. People speak about a coming shift as if a date were already on a calendar. The stage is clean and set. One artist glowing from continuous light, the other shadowed but building myth. Each small pulse, a rumor, a studio photo, a half-heard snippet, lands like a low drum, turning stored hunger into a rising, restless energy ready to rush forward when the next true drop hits. From 2021 through 2023, the quiet stretch breaks in little bursts. Kendrick steps back in with lines that feel like someone beating a fist on the table. Strong chest energy. He raps about ranking high, clearing fake noise, calling for real smoke, top spots, real pen work. Each bold phrase lands like an early tremor after a long silence. Fans rush to clip the bars, circle words, ask, is this lining up the old rivalry for a louder round? He still does not use Drake's name, but the tone now feels closer to open challenge than gentle craft talk. Drake, during this same window, keeps moving fast and wide, but he also changes colors. He tries new moods, dance grooves, lighter bounce, global rhythm blends. Some listeners praise him. He can shift forms at will, that's talent. Others question, is he stretching too far, chasing trend, watering impact? That split creates new debate space. Style change becomes a mirror for the earlier fight over authenticity. Supporters say adaptation is power. Critics say constant shape-shifting risks a thin brand. Both sides sometimes frame their points by hinting at Kendrick's approach. Look, the other guy doesn't need all these switches. Kendrick drops pointed phrases about critics, clones, fake industry shapes. Fans connect those words to Drake's chameleon skill set, even if the line might be wide and general. Because expectation is already heavy, they map every possible path back to the rivalry. A bar about cleaning house becomes a headline. A bar about wearing crowns lightly becomes a thread. Even interviews where Kendrick speaks about protecting the art form get turned into images with captions like, "Guard at the gate." That steward label grows. He is presented as one guarding standards, watching for shortcuts. Fans now keep shared docs and running threads, live subliminal tracker, with timestamps, They log date, lyric snippet, paraphrased, possible target, confidence level. It resembles a detective board. When an anniversary of a big past moment hits, release day of a major old verse, date of a past list ranking, they trend old clips. People post, 9 years since that spark, still no full direct clash, which quietly pressures an outcome. Drake's release dates also feed talk. If he drops near a Kendrick move, fans ask if it's strategy. If he drops far apart, others say he is dodging or just unconcerned. Same calendar event, 2 readings. That double reading keeps energy alive. Because social platforms reward posts that trigger argument, the algorithm notices the engagement. Clips about, is this aimed at him, start getting boosted. More people see them. Add takes, push them higher. The system itself amplifies the storyline, even when no new solid proof appears. The rivalry rumor becomes a self-feeding loop. By late 2023, anticipation feels thick. People speak as if an open confrontation is simply late, not unlikely. The stage is set, Kendrick sounding more direct in spirit, Drake pushing shape-shifting to new zones, fans writing forensic reports, old sparks relit by yearly reminders. The culture holds its breath a little longer, waiting for that one clear bar that will finally break the long-coded dance and flip speculation into confirmed battle heat. Late 2023, the air feels tight. Content creators start pumping out long history of the shots videos. Some clips they use are real sharp moments. Some are just normal smiles or neutral lines stretched into evidence. Titles read, all the times Drake and Kendrick went at each other, even if half the examples are weak. Still, viewers watch, comment, argue. Every view tells the system, make more, so more appear. Short clips on reels and shorts break single lyrics into 5-second bites. A tiny line about crowns or levels becomes its own post with bold text over it. Casual fans who never followed the slow build now scroll through 10 of these little pieces in one sitting. They get trained to expect a bigger clash soon. Repetition teaches them the story. Drake equals the shapeshifter who can slide into any sound. Kendrick is the serious examiner guarding standards. Nuance gets shaved off. 2 simple characters are easier to pass around. Memes lock it in deeper. One meme shows Drake in many outfits, captions like Pop Drake, Afrobeat Drake, Dance Drake. Another shows Kendrick at a desk with a stern face, captioned, checking your lyrics. People laugh and share. Laughter smooths the story into public habit. Now even folks who don't care about detailed bar study can explain the roles at a party. When a storyline becomes that easy to retell, it starts to feel inevitable. Commentary hosts run mock battle panels. If Drake drops first, what angle? If Kendrick answers, what tone? They pre-score imaginary rounds. Guests hold printed round 1, round 2 cards like a sport broadcast. No actual new diss has landed, but analysts fill empty space with predictions. And prediction talk itself boosts the sense something must happen to pay off the hype bank the culture has been building for years. Fan threads crowdsource probable targets and forbidden zones. Lists appear. Acceptable topics equals skill, catalog, style claims. Risky topics equals family, deep personal allegations. By defining rules before a real strike, fans prepare to judge instantly. They want to be first to declare who went too far, who stayed sharp, who folded. That prejudging mindset means any real bar will drop into a field of hungry referees ready with colored cards. Because the narrative now moves on its own, the artist's small actions get oversized reactions. Drake posts a studio selfie. Comments flood. It's starting. Kendrick's engineer likes a cryptic tweet. Threads spawn. Confirming movement. A playlist reorder, a deleted story, a brand new hairstyle, all minor. Gain assumed meaning. The culture is writing chapters without waiting for the authors. They have become characters in a fan-built serial. The script is drafted. There will be an opening shot, there will be replies, a winner will be crowned, lines will be scored. Algorithms notice every spike. Watch time on breakdowns, replay of old diss rumors, comment storms under neutral posts. The machine serves more of what keeps people engaged. Speculation. Speculation multiplies anticipation. Anticipation hardens into a belief. A strike is overdue. Belief shifts to impatience. Why hasn't it happened yet? Impatience becomes pressure. Creators push sharper titles to hold attention. Any day now. Timer almost up. Pressure becomes a stage prop waiting for a performer to touch it. By the final weeks of the year, all it takes is one pointed bar with less fog than usual. The ecosystem, primed, rehearsed, thirsty, snaps into instant agreement. It has begun. Years of layered hints collapse into a clean headline. The environment itself almost drags the next phase into existence, turning a decade of coded tension into open, declared competition the moment a single clear line lands. The moment a clear direct bar lands, the whole mood flips. Years of guessing and slow decoding end in one sharp line that leaves little fog. People do not argue, was that at him? They accept it and rush straight to reaction mode. Social pages flood. Fast lyric breakdown posts, side-by-side bar counts, little charts comparing rhyme pockets, old clips brought back to show he warned this was coming. Within minutes, fans argue over who holds the early edge. Speed now becomes a weapon. Everyone watches the clock. If a reply comes within hours, fans say, prepared, confident. If it takes longer, other fans say, he's crafting, he wants it clean, while critics whisper, he's scrambling. Time gaps turn into story points. Even the length of each track is scored. Does a long track show depth or overreach? Does a short, sharp strike show focus or lack of ammo? Every choice carries a frame. Drake's counterwaves carry multiple angles in one package. Calm flex about legacy, quick darts aimed at character, little turns toward rumor pressure, then a hook built to be chanted in clubs. He wants not just a lyrical answer, but a cultural echo, bars plus replay. Kendrick's follow-ups stay tight and surgical. Focused tone, clipped delivery, cultural framing lines that sound like verdict stamps rather than loose gossip. He leans on sharp precision to project control. Two different battle styles, volume agility versus scalpel pressure. As more tracks arrive, content shifts ground. Early shots talk skill and ranking, then some lines step nearer to personal space. How someone moves in private, who is in the room, what family ties look like, lifestyle patterns, implied shadows. Each new layer sparks ethical talk. Is that fair? Is that too far? Fans build informal scorecards with two columns. Craft points, wordplay, structure, breath control, layered meaning, and boundary hits. Family mention, unproven hint, heavy allegation tone. A line can score high in craft and still lose favor if people label it boundary crossing. Crowds at shows become active judges. A DJ drops a fresh diss during a festival set. The roar is filmed and posted as proof of who is up. A crowd chant forms the hook of a reply. That chant loop becomes free marketing. Live space shifts from passive entertainment to echo chamber that tells the internet, this side is winning tonight. One artist's calm face while the other's diss plays in the arena becomes a meme, either praising composure or mocking discomfort. Same clip, two readings. People also track narrative control. Who sets the topic of each news cycle? If Drake drops a high-energy piece that forces everyone to discuss a new claim, he steals agenda time. If Kendrick releases a concentrated response that neatly closes that claim and recenters moral talk, he steals it back. The battle map now has several axes: lyrical density, speed, emotional pull, personal invasion depth, control of conversation, and crowd adoption. Debate splits after the first heavy wave cools. Some say Kendrick kept cleaner lines, avoided certain family zones longer, and framed the war as a test of integrity. So he holds moral high ground while still landing precision burns. Others say Drake showed a warrior's stamina, multiple answers, willingness to risk messier angles, refusing to fade while pressure mounted. So his resilience proves a different kind of dominance. Both positions use the same timeline, weighing red lines differently. Redline itself becomes a shared phrase. Fans argue definition. Is it naming kids? Is it hinting at unverified dark behavior? Is it repeating a rumor without proof? Some propose a layered rule set. Skill attacks equal fine, lifestyle critique equals gray, family or unproven criminal hints equals danger. The feud's legacy expands from what was said to how far is too far for mainstream rap competition. This meta-discussion shapes future beef etiquette. When the immediate salvos pause, the silence feels thick, not empty. People watch small signals: a stray ad-lib at a show, a like on a post, a studio door photo. Reputation adjustments settle into place. For many, Kendrick's image as strategic craftsman is strengthened, measured, selective, controlled. For many, Drake's brand as adaptable, ever-present combatant stays intact. He took heavy fire and kept standing, absorbing narrative blows without vanishing. Some purity voices keep pressing ethical critique against certain personal angles. Others shrug and call it normal battle evolution. Open triggers remain on the table: a future festival lineup, a shared feature opportunity, a leaked snippet, a national moment that invites a symbolic lyric. The map of acceptable strikes has now been drawn by public reaction. Any future escalation will be judged against this newly calibrated standard, with fans quicker than ever to label a line genius, weak, or over the edge as they stand in a brief calm, waiting for the next spark that might restart the storm. From early friendly nods to coded lines to full direct strikes, Drake and Kendrick turned slow tension into a test of skill, timing, and limits. Who held the sharper edge? Who kept the cleaner lines? Tell us your verdict below. Tap like, share with your rap fam, and hit subscribe so you catch the next full story the moment it drops.